to support the platform just in case anything like this happens again, you can do it by way of PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and also by the Anchor. And you can also further support the platform by way of going to the Teespring store or the shoe store that is located in the comment section below. Saraswati, 39, is the Chief Equity, Inclusion, and Culture Officer of the American Friends Service Committee, a Quaker organization that fights globally for peace and social justice. According to members of the organization, Saraswati, whose birth name is Rachel Elizabeth Sato, has been misrepresenting her ethnic background for years. The activist claimed to be of Latino, South Asian, and Arab descent. "I call her Rachel," she said. "I don't know why she's doing what she's doing. I'm as white as the driven snow, and so is she. I'm German and British, and her father was Calabrese Italian. She's chosen to live a lie, and I find that very, very sad." According to Perron, her daughter converted to Islam in high school and at some point started presenting herself as being of a different ethnic identity. Perron shared photos that show Saraswati as a child with a lighter complexion as compared to her bronze complexion in more recent photographs. Oscar Pierre Castro, a human resources official who helped AFSC hire Saraswati, said the activist presented herself as a queer, Muslim, multi-ethnic woman. "In my mind it was, great, a person of color, a queer person of color, who happens to be a Muslim, it's a woman, all these things, and someone who seemed to get it. I definitely feel conned. I feel deceived." Lane Mullet, a spokesperson for the AFSC, released a statement to The Intercept to address the issue surrounding Saraswati's identity. "We are in receipt of the documentation alleging that our Chief Equity, Inclusion, and Culture Officer, Raquel Saraswati, has been misrepresenting her identity. AFSC has given Raquel the opportunity to address the allegations against her, and Raquel stands by her identity. Raquel also assures us that she remains loyal to AFSC's mission, which we firmly believe. AFSC does not require any employee to prove their heritage as a condition of their employment or in order to be valued as a member of our team. However, there are some AFSC members who have expressed concerns that the activist may have a hidden political agenda and is seeking to undermine the group. People are concerned." A member of FSC's leadership told The Intercept, "There's a fear that she could be an agent because she started her career right wing. She was a token Muslim voice in that milieu. She never publicly apologized." Some members claim that after 9/11, Saraswati appeared on right-wing TV shows where she was described as a moderate Muslim critical of Islamic extremism. Imagine the trauma of people who confided in her, trusted her, and shared sensitive information about their work and about their lives, thinking that she's a fellow person of color, the AFSC leader said. "And now all of a sudden, it's a white woman with a right-wing history. It's scary." So this is the effect of transracial, right? And this is what happens when black people are too welcoming. When we allow any and everybody to be around us, they will start to take on a different persona opposite of their own and claim that to be the real them. We've seen Rachel Dolezal and many others. We've seen hosts of white women caught black fishing. We've seen other nationalities dressing as black people or cosplaying as black people and then claiming that to be their culture. So this woman went around lying about her ethnicity. She swapped directly over to becoming a Muslim, identified herself as something completely different as well, all to have her mother, who she stated she's as white as snow, right? She has all European heritage. And her mother said it saddens her that her daughter is doing this. Obviously, there is something that she's running away from, something that she does not want to be or be associated with, so much so that she is willing to change her name, disguise her ethnicity, take on a whole other belief and try to live a completely different life versus what she was born directly into. That's crazy. That is crazy. But also it goes into the effect of showing that only one set group of people can go around and cosplay and be anything that they want to be, and pretty much nobody's going to say anything about it, right? But the moment in time, even if it's just for literally one moment in time, if a black cosplayer, right? And cosplayer are basically people who make or wear costumes, they, celebrate, or for that day they are, that character. You've had, you know, black men wanting to be, let's say, Cable, wanting to be Professor X, wanting to be Captain America, or maybe anime characters. And you've had people directly in the cosplay arena, both Asian, Caucasian, or whoever else, wanting to tell black people, you can't cosplay as this because this character isn't black. But yet everybody else can cosplay as whatever it is that they want to be without anybody saying anything. So the main point is that there's going to come a point in time in which I stated before that this transracial identity, that's feeling that people want to do, is going to be something that's going to be all over the place. And people will use this in order to justify the reason why it is that they can use certain words, do certain things, or act a certain type of way, because it either is them or they're just playing a character. And as I stated to people before, it's going to be pretty interesting to see people's reaction dealing with some of the older generation. Of course, there's going to be a lot of pushback, and people are going to come out and rightfully so say a lot of things which should be stated, because things like this should not exist. It shouldn't be happening. But when you have the newer generation who seem to be accommodating, who seem to accept and are completely fine with individuals doing whatever it is that they want to do because they're so inclusive, this is when there's going to be a clash. This is when there's going to be a serious and a major problem, where you're going to have people not knowing specifically who they are. This is when there's going to be a lot of gray areas that are going to take place. This is when a lot of foolishness um, will happen, and you have a lot of individuals that will be deceived because a person's appearance is not really what they appear. And we don't have any type of laws or anything like that to stop someone for trying to cosplay or pretend to be black. And that's the whole thing. Black is so cool that everybody wants to be it, but yet when it comes time to actually be black, nobody wants to be it. Nobody wants to take on that responsibility. Nobody wants to take on those hardships and those feelings and the negative things that come directly with it, because other people are jealous and envious of what it is that black people are, of what it is that black people can do, of that Midas touch. So the only thing that I can hope is that sooner rather than later, that a lot of people will wake up to what is happening and going on now, versus trying to jump on the bandwagon later and start crying and complaining and wanting to try to change things when it's well beyond too late.